What's up everyone, it's your girl Shay here and I'm back with another video for you guys. And for this week's Motivational Monday video, I once again am using an anime to basically convey the message that I chose for today, or actually for a matter of fact, one of you guys actually chose on my Twitter. And the topic you guys decided to choose was comparison. Now, I've done a Motivational Monday video before about comparison and like comparing yourself to other people, but this time I'm using two animes, or better yet, two anime characters that I felt kind of conveyed the message of comparison. Now, both of these characters both dealt with comparison in two very different ways to resolve their problems. And to me, one of them solved it in a more, how can I put it, healthy way compared to the other one. But the two animes that I chose are Peach Girl using the character Momo and Paradise Kiss using the character Yukari. Now, I've used both these animes and both these two characters before in previous videos I've done before, but I felt like these two characters, to me, I relate to so much with watching their shows in particular, and I felt like their shows in general were just overall conveyed a sort of message. Now, I do know I've used Paradise Kiss before to talk about relationships, and I used Peach Girl to talk about colorism and other topics per se. But with comparison, I feel like these two characters had both similar journeys, but yet very different ways of resolving them. So in Paradise Kiss, you have the character of Yukari, and she doesn't so much compare her looks to others as much as it is comparing her intelligence. Now, Yukari has a younger brother, and her younger brother is considered a prodigy, and he's doing very well academically in his classes. And Yukari is in her senior year of high school, and she studies very, very hard to really please her mother, but she doesn't do as academically well as her brother. Or better yet, she does well academically, but she struggles with it and it takes her a long time to get things compared to her brother. And during her senior year, she meets George and his friends who go to a fashion school, and they decide to use her as their model. And in doing so, she learns a lot about herself, and she also learns what she basically wants to do with her life. This kind of disappoints her mother because her mother really, really wants her to go to college. And I believe at one point in the anime, she actually says to Yukari something along the lines of like she wishes she was like her brother, and so on and so forth. Something just along those lines. That's the kind of message that her mother conveys to Yukari. And of course, this hurts Yukari, but Yukari ultimately ends up having to stand up to her mother and ends up having to basically, you know, become her own person. And while she doesn't have the intelligence like her brother, she realizes that she has very different dreams from her mom, and that she has to push forward to her dreams and not compare herself to her brother, because she is her own person and she is going to have to live her own life. And she does that with George and his friends, kind of showing her not really what her self-worth is, but kind of like showing her where she shines. And where she shined at was in the fashion world and in being a model, and it wasn't in going to school or going to college. Now, I know this isn't the best, you know, message as far as like, oh, don't go to school and become a model, but it is the greatest message in so much of comparing yourself to a sibling and then going on and realizing that you and your sibling are going to be very different. You're going to have very different friends, very different interests, and you're going to do very differently in school, both academically or socially. And for Yukari, she learned that, and she learned to excel on her own, and ultimately her mom actually learned to accept it and to realize that she was going to succeed, but in her own way. And while it wasn't going to be in the eyes of what her mom felt or what her mom wanted for her, she did excel ultimately. Now, Momo, though, had a completely different comparison. This is a comparison that so many of us have had to deal with on a daily basis, especially now with social media, and that's on the comparison of looks. Now, in Peach Girl, Momo is the main character, and Momo's skin is very tan, and her hair is orange or like a blondish color, but this is due to Momo swimming. So she's in the sun a lot, and the chlorine in the water has dyed her hair. This has caused so many people to believe she's either a girl that's like a slut or a hoe, or so guys think she's easy, or they think she's like a gang member kind of a girl, but she's really not. But this causes Momo to really kind of compare herself to the other girls that have like porcelain pale skin and are really tiny, and her best friend Sai is literally the epitome of this, and she compares herself to her friend Sai so much. It doesn't help that her friend Sai is very manipulative and kind of like plays into Momo's feelings because she knows Momo's insecurities, and this goes even further into the guys that Momo likes, or the guy that Momo likes. So the guy Momo likes' name is Toji, and Sai ends up telling Momo that Toji only likes girls that have pale skin, and Momo looks nothing like this. So of course this causes Momo to be very, very insecure with herself, and ultimately when her and Toji do get into a relationship, this really plays into a relationship with Toji because she has this constant insecurity, especially when Sai always plays the innocent one and people always believe Sai and what she says, and they never believe Momo. So Momo just cannot catch a break. Now there's another guy involved, and his name is Kyrie, or Kylie if you're reading the, I think the US version, that is his name. And he basically kind of shows Momo that she is pretty just the way she is, and that she has a great personality, and that she has no reason to compare herself to those other girls because she is who she is. And also she ends up meeting a group of girls who are actually on the swim team, who ultimately, you know, kind of welcome them into their circle because they completely understand where she's coming from, and they've had to deal with that as well. And so she kind of finds her place among people that are just like her. Now this doesn't mean to say Momo doesn't probably still have this insecurity, but she's working through it. But overall, the one thing I have to say is that I feel like these two characters showed comparison in two different ways. Like I mentioned, Yukari dealt with comparison when it came to intelligence, and also having to deal with having to talk to a parental figure, and having to kind of grow into your own person, and having to show your parents that the ideal you have of me isn't the only idea that you should have, or the only future you should have for me. And Momo's was definitely dealing with more societal norms and what is the definition of being pretty in today's society. I feel like it's such a stark difference because Yukari is going into the fashion industry, so she is pretty, but she's not smart, I guess, or she isn't considered very smart. But Momo, while you don't hear anything about Momo's intelligence, you do though hear a lot about looks and stereotypes, and also like what is deemed as pretty within the society of Momo's world. And they both had to get through that comparison issues on their own, but they also both had people within their lives to show them that they don't need to compare themselves, because they are apples to oranges and they are going to be very different, and that they are both very beautiful or very smart in their own way. So bottom line, when it comes to comparison, I know I do it. I know that all of you do it. I especially know that nowadays with social media like Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and even YouTube, all of us are comparing something to somebody. Even if it's not looks wise, when it comes to Instagram, such as like, oh, that girl is prettier than me, or that guy's more buff than I am, or oh my God, like look at this couple, look at their couple goals, you know, those things, compare relationships. Some of us also compare numbers. Like on YouTube, I know I do it, of like, man, this person has so many more views than I do on their videos. What are they doing that I'm not doing? Oh my God, they have so many more subscribers. Oh man, they have so many more people on Instagram that are following them. It's a numbers game and it's a looks game. And I just want to say, don't compare yourself to somebody else, or try your best not to. We are all meant to be different. We're all meant to be whom we're meant to be in this point of time. And when it comes to success and comparing success, don't compare success. Everyone's going to be successful in their own way, and no one's success is going to look the same. So what you have to do if you're comparing success, that is look at what is your definition of success, because maybe your definition of success isn't what another person's definition of success actually like looks like. And if you're comparing looks, I want you to look at yourself in the mirror and look at yourself and think of, what do I love about myself? Is it my smile? Is it my eyes? Is it my butt? Is it my feet? It could be something so random, but just look at yourself and be like, man, I do look good. And if it's something along the lines of like, working out, or I'm not as buff or not as skinny or not as thick as these other girls or guys. Think about it. Do you want to be like that? And if you want to, you know, change your looks or whatever, do it for yourself, not because you want to look good, but because you want to be healthy. If you're on the bigger side and you're like, man, I think I want to lose weight. Do you want to lose weight because you want to look good, or do you want to lose weight so that you can be healthy? Because there's people who are skinny that are very unhealthy, and the people that are big that are perfectly healthy. So you really have to think about that and really talk to yourself. And if it comes down to like intelligence, or you're not as smart as somebody else, then sometimes you have to try, of course, maybe just a little bit harder, or so on and so forth. But look at what your strengths are. You know, while I know for myself, I'm not good at math, but I'm good at English, and I'm good at reading, and I'm good at public speaking. And those are the things that I excel at. And yes, at math, I have to try a little bit harder, but that does not mean I'm not as smart as somebody else. Everyone has their strengths and weaknesses, and it's not fair to compare yourself to somebody else, especially someone else behind a screen that you know nothing about and you know nothing about their life. When it comes to social media, half the time people are showing their highlight reels and they're not showing their blooper reels. I can post a picture of me and my boyfriend online and we're perfectly happy with each other, but you don't know that you might have had an argument 10 minutes before. So you don't know any of this that is going on in someone else's life. And if you really feel like you need to compare yourself to somebody, compare yourself to yourself of yesterday. Do that, because then you will really see how far you've actually came. But anyway, that's my video for you guys. Once again, be sure to not compare yourself. And if you compare yourself to the you of yesterday. Remember that. And I definitely recommend, if you haven't already, to check out the animes of Paradise Kiss and also Peach Girl. They are wonderful animes, and I feel like they really helped me. And especially for me as a young girl, I really related to both of these characters. I related to Yukari because of her having to talk to her mom and having to really think about her future, because we've all had to do that. If you have been in school, you've had to think about your future and so on and so forth. And also I like the relationship aspect in Paradise Kiss, because to me it portrayed a very real relationship and very real things that can happen in a relationship. And if you haven't watched Peach Girl, definitely check it out as well, because Peach Girl really talked about friendships a lot and how it feels if you have a friend that is manipulative and kind of how to get through that, but also with the comparison of looks and comparing yourself to your friends and to society and so on and so forth. And also, if you're a girl like me that is also of a darker skin complexion, it deals with issues of colorism and having to get through that as well. So I definitely recommend checking out this anime. But this is my video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Of course, like always, please give a thumbs up, and of course, please click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and let me know what you guys think of this video. And of course, like always, please feel free to comment down below any topics you would like me to talk about for these Mondays videos, because I want to continue to incorporate more anime that I've seen or more manga that I've read into these videos to help compel or talk about the message that I want to talk about. And of course, like always, I'll have links down below to all my social media accounts, my Instagram, my Twitter, and my blog as well. So please feel free to check me out on there as well. But once again, like I always tell you guys, stay positive and be nerdy, and I'll have another video out for you guys on Wednesday. All right, you guys.